So let's talk about Lil Silchain.
Who is Lil
Why is
Silchain?
his music different?
Worth listening to?
Where is he from?
These are all questions you might have if you have or haven't listened to his music.
Today we'll be getting into all these topics and much more, because today I got to interview Lil Silchain.
I drink bubble gum pop all day.
Shane was born May 9th, 2005 in Huddersfield, England. He says that growing up in Huddersfield impacted his music a lot due to the energy that he had in it. As a child, Shane really wanted to do something with his life, unlike his parents who really never did anything productive with their time. Throughout all of Shane's life, he struggled with anxiety and was always pretty different from his peers. Having a terminally online humor, Shane really never connected with that many people around him. Shane is a very creative person with skills such as animation, music, drawing, and Photoshop. At age 15, Shane was diagnosed with autism, which would change his view on himself forever. Shane got the inspiration to make music in a very unique way. As a teenager, Shane loved to watch a YouTube channel named Call Me Carson. Shane was watching a video where they would look at funny images on Discord and this rapper named 404 Studios would rap over them. Shane was instantly intrigued by 404 and went to check them out. Started listening to 404's music and soon took him as an inspiration to make his own music. Shane started recording on a Chromebook with a Blue Yeti microphone. The quality was really bad and he didn't know what he was doing, but he still kept going. Through perseverance and skill, Shane eventually started getting some bigger collabs with artists such as Changeline, 777, and even 404 Studios. Now let's take a dive into his lyrics and their meaning. So, in the song Bubblegum, you say, I'll just be on my own until the end of May. Is this like referencing a long distance relationship or anything?
Yeah, so it was referencing a long distance relationship, but it's also funny because May is like my birth month, but also like it is definitely a long distance relationship song. Like if you watch the video itself, like it's like my character going through a bunch of like older music videos to get to this girl only to be met with like failure sort of thing. And it's kind of like that internalization of like you can't have a relationship because no matter how hard you try, no matter how long the journey is, like you'll always seem to lose someone. And to me, that music video meant so much to me because the way I framed it. Because I like the idea of the because like I don't think enough music videos do it enough. Where like the music video ends on kind of like a weird like dark somber note rather than just being like, oh, I beat this, I did this, and I've
Yeah.
accomplished this thing. So that's kind of like how I frame my sort of things and like shit like that. Because that lyric is like very impactful, despite it just being like a one. Because people could read it as like a one note thing, but it's so deeply interesting because of like the impact and the people on the song itself.
So in the song Martins, you talk you say they don't know the mental health issues I'm battling. And do you often struggle with mental health?
I do actually. I struggle a lot with being a perfectionist and sort of having this internalized idea that I can't be loved or I can't
Yeah.
have certain things done correctly. I battle with autism a lot. Uh, it's a thing that I was diagnosed with at the age of 15. So I've basically had it for almost 6 years now. And I have a lot of like meltdowns at times. And like when I have a meltdown, it's really bad because I'll start just bawling my eyes out, crying, and sort of just like not not realizing I'm not happy. Like I remember talking to my therapist about this where it was like, um, the one thing she recommended me not to do was to ask myself, "Am I happy?" Because the more you ask yourself that, the more you just sort of realize that you're not. And like, and also I was going through like a really bad like breakup at the beginning of 2024, um, which was the girl from Bubblegum. I had a breakup with her, and it really broke me. And like, uh, it just sort of like hurt a lot, and it sort of, like, was the antithesis or, like, it just fueled the sort of saddish verse on Martians, and, it was the Martians is a very interesting song to me because it's, like, a mixture of, like, Silchain and the guy behind the mask, like, fighting each other on the song, but also, like, mental health is, like, something that I wanted to talk about in the song because I do struggle with it, and I want people to know that, like, I'm not a perfect musician, that I will struggle with these things. And it's perfectly fine to struggle with these things.
Mhm. Um In the song Nosebleed, you talk about anxiety and how no one really understands it like the way you do. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I anxiety has been a really bad thing for me because again, I have autism, and one of those things is like anxiety. I have really bad anxiety issues. And I feel like a lot of people at that time did not really understand how it worked or how it was affecting people. And like I was just like sort of in a really awkward space where I was trying to be like the cool guy around a lot of my friends, but it was just really hard to because I just didn't know what to say. Because I have that kind of like really weird terminally online humor, where like because I live in the UK, I live in Wales now. I live in Wales, and like a lot of people here don't understand the kind of humor that you would usually see in like the creator space, like the terminally online creator space. Like they wouldn't get like the property in Egypt meme that's sort of blown up now. Or like
Chop Jim.
yeah, yeah, Chop Jim, yeah. And like they sort of would not understand that. And like me trying to like befriend people or like anything like that, it made me feel like again on Nosebleed, like it felt like I was the monster of a village where like if I came in, everyone would be afraid of me, and I sort of felt like alone in like that's like as a monster, I felt very alone.
Mm, okay. In the song Misery, you talk about your struggle with suicide. Um, yeah, tell me
Yeah.
more about that.
Uh. Yeah. So the beginning of last year, I don't. It's a very recent thing, but I did almost kill myself. But also like it's suicide has always been a thing where I've always tried to do it since the age of 15. Like I've always had like these really bad meltdowns, and there's always been points where I've like stood on like a train track or stood on a highway or like stood over the bridge of a highway or like near my city there's a bridge where there's like water at the bottom and I thought about jumping in that and like and also just like either like running away or like anything like that and like thinking about buying rope and chair and stuff like that. But a lot of it was like battling with like the sort of internalized depression that I had and like I still deal with every now and again. Because again, like I'm not perfect, nobody's perfect, and I feel like that should be said pretty much about everyone. And a lot of it is also affected by the internet. Like the internet sort of affects it as well. Like when one of my friends turns out to be like a creep or something like that, that like hurts my feelings a lot. And it's basically just a bunch of small things that build upon themselves that give me that internalized like idea. And also I've had times where I've questioned myself like if I were to kill myself, would anyone care? Would anyone really give a shit? Would anyone like sort of realize that I'm dead? But I'm glad that I've been able to turn it into something kind of positive again because the character does have the KYS on his head. But it's never towards anyone because the reason why it's like on the head is because it's like meant to be like in my mind, like telling myself that rather than it being like afflicted upon people.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Comment down below